Yo, what's going on, guys? J.Yumeko here, and today we're back with some more If My Heart Had Wings. If you were here for the last episode, you would know simultaneously a lot happened while also nothing happening as well. So, go watch the last episode if you want some really awesome, insane, crazy, action-packed content, because I promise that is exactly what you'll get. Anyways, I know I've been kind of gone for a little while here with these uploads, which I apologize about that. Been doing some other stuff. So, anyways, let's just jump right on back into it. And by the way, I really am not exaggerating when I say that quite literally nothing happened.
何？なんか騒がしいんだけど。おはよう。
Good morning, Kotori. Good morning, Kotori. Hehe, called it.
お、起きてきた。おはよう、小鳥。おはようございます、小鳥先輩。
Wow, that's loud. There we go.
おはよう。あんたたちか。ってなんでアゲハまでいるの？いやー、一人寝が寂しくて昨日朝ちゃんたちに混ぜてもらってたの。コロッケいただいてます。これ小鳥先輩が作ったんですよね。いいけど全部食べちゃダメよ。それ本当は青いのなんだから。青い
Yuri-chan reacted with a twitch.
今なんかさらっと呼び捨てにしたわね。どうやら夕べのうちに進展があった模様。
Oh, trust me, we made a lot more than progress.
うっさいわね。いいでしょ、なんて呼ぼうが。こっちに来なくてよかったわ。危うくお邪魔虫になるところだった。
Kotori, do you want some rice?
大盛りで。
When I filled her bowl, I heard some chatter from the hall. What is it? Did somebody come?
おはよ
Kaneko-san entered the dining hall vigorously. But it wasn't just her. After her, they came in one by one.
ただいま、みなせくん。
Yuka-san?
疲れた。バスの中で一睡もできなかったよ。おはようございます。早苗さんに涼子ちゃんも。みんなどうしたの？かなこさんから電話もらったのよ。そうそう、ソアリング部のみんながなんかすごいことするらしいから見といた方がいいよって。それで夜行バスで帰ってきたらみんな時間が同じだったみたいで駅でばったり。
So that's why you're here so early.
私はさっき寮の前で会ったんだけどね。あの2階の部屋に隠してあったグライダーで飛ぶんでしょ。なんとかって雲を。私たちも興味あるからさ。みんな頑張ってたのいつも横で見てたし、一度飛んでるところ見てみ
Well,
た
I'm
か
glad
ったか
that
ら。
these complete side characters are all of a sudden showing us such great support.
そう言うと思って一応連絡も回しておいたわけ。みんな。
After our garage was demolished, and before we moved to our current base, we'd been doing our activities here at Flying Fish Manor. It was a bit of a nuisance for the other boarders, but they never complained and even helped at times.
というわけで朝ごはんプリーズ。
朝ごはんplease! You know, I think if I had to say if I had to say I can't speak. If I had to say who my favorite character was so far out of this entire game, probably Kaneko. I mean, the only reason she's at this dorm is because she kept inadvertently seducing her mom's boyfriend. She's such an airhead. There's some croquets if you'd like. Kotori made them.
これ小鳥ちゃん作ったの？すごい美味しそう。
They can eat them, right?
もちろんよ。私たちの晴れ舞台を見るためにわざわざ帰ってきてくれたんだもん。でもお口に合うかしら。昨日作ったやつだからもう冷めてるし。
There's some rice and miso soup too. I'll get you some.
あ、私手伝うわ。
When I was preparing the rice, the doorbell rang.
はーい。
Sanai-san pattered off to the entrance, and a moment later,
お邪魔します。
Anchan. As soon as he entered, the boarders blushed a little and began fixing their hair.
おはよう、
Hotaru.
よう来てやったぞ。
And I guess Masatsuki too. Hotaru, Mabo, what brings you guys here?
昨日いちごのお裾分け持っていこうと思ったんだけどな。アゲハにお邪魔になるからやめとけって言われて。
Well, you know what? There's a lot of people who would have come yesterday that I'm very glad did not come yesterday.
仕事行く前に持ってきたんだ。
Saying that, he put 3 packs of strawberries on the table.
昨日のいちごだ。本当だ。私はあーちゃんに呼ばれて。あーちゃん、はい着替え。おお、悪いわね。
And you, Mabo?
あ？こないだ飛んでるとこ見に行った時、なんか中途半端になっちゃっただろ。もう一回ちゃんと見ときたいと思ってな。
Is that so?
あ、勘違いすんなよ。これは生徒会役員としてだからな。別にお前らなんか興味ねえからな。
Yeah, I get it. Say it, don't spray it.
なんか一気に大所帯に。
Are you guys gonna eat breakfast?
いいのか？
じゃあちょっとだけ。
なんかうまそうだな、このコロッケ。
I guess making that huge pile of croquets was a good call.
葵の分ちゃんと残るかしら。
I think we got our fill,
し
Kotari. You're good.
かし、こうなると足りない人が一人いるわね。
Amane senpai.
と言ったそばから、このチャイムの押し方は。私、見てきます。
If they're that obnoxious with the doorbell, I think we all know who this is. Yoko-san headed towards the entrance, and a moment later,
やあ、おはようみんな。
Amane senpai walked in with a huge smile on her face.
本当に来ちゃったよ。
Good morning, senpai. What's the matter? You're here early.
今日もテストをするんだろう。顧問としてしっかり見ておこうと思ってな。いつも気まぐれで来たり来なかったりするくせに。ご飯の匂いにつられてきたんじゃないでしょうね。いい匂いだ。お腹空いてたのを思い出してしまったぞ。
Please have some too, senpai.
わーい、ありがとう葵くん。
The normal quiet morning in one instant became very noisy. It felt just like the morning of a festival day.
葵くん、おかわり。あー、こっちも。
Okay, right away.
こーら、あんたたち食べ過ぎ。葵の分なくなっちゃう。葵？なに？
Everyone's attention focused on Kotari. I thought it was a good point. I mean, Kaneko knows we're dating, but I don't know if the other guys know that we are.
もういいでしょ。なんて呼ぼうが。
It was a pretty cool morning. Summer was coming to an end.
ほら、さっさと食べてテストフライトやるわよ。
This might be the last summer like this for us. True, yeah. Today's flights have been going well so far. The morning glory could appear tomorrow. With that thought, everyone was really fired up and concentrated on their work. We were practicing for the real thing. The flight plan meant to take us from takeoff far above the clouds. Air currents vary depending on the season, time of day, pressure patterns at high altitudes, etc. This place is difficult to fly the same course the same way. However, places where thermals are likely to form and where other updrafts appear also depend on the terrain to some extent. Today, we're trying to fly as close as possible to the flight pattern for the real thing. It's basically a rehearsal.
どうだった？いけそう？リフトは捕まえられたけど、サーマルに乗るのとは感覚が違うのね。流れが読めなくて戸惑った。意外なところに下降気流が発生してたり。でも大丈夫。だんだん慣れてきたから。
After we'd come back from our second flight, we took a break while Ageha and the others were checking the glider. The wind's strong today, so flying an unfamiliar course is quite tiring. I've been giving directions about the flight course from the rear seat so that Kotari could focus on increasing the altitude.
想定よりだいぶ流されてたもんね。アゲハ先輩、チェック完了しました。こっち異常なしです。こっちもよ。 ケー。じゃああと5分休憩したら次のフライト行くよ。次どこまで飛ぶ？まだ時間あるし、もう一回様子見する？
No, I'd like to try that while there's still time to spare. If we don't come back in time, it'll start getting dark, so we'll have to pass on that for now.
そうね、それがいいと思う。ってことは次は野外着陸も視野に入れてのフライトってわけね。
An outlanding is basically landing somewhere other than the runway. In the case of gliders that have no propulsion, it's not always possible to return to the runway. It's not necessarily the same as an emergency landing. It's just landing in a place where we won't bother anyone and from where you can retrieve the glider easily. Of course, damaging the aircraft is out of the question. Since we didn't need to fly too far, we were always certain we could return to the runway until now. That's still the case, but when it comes to the real thing, there's no such guarantee. Luckily, there's a lot of vacant land on the Kazagawa mountainside. It shouldn't be hard to find a place for an outlanding.
だいぶ風が出てきたな。
Amane-senpai whispered as she absent-mindedly gazed at the flowing clouds. Yeah, earlier it was also stronger than we expected. We almost had to land out.
おーい、飲み物買ってきたぞ。
Masatsugu came back carrying a convenience store bag. He has been carrying out the inspection since morning. He should have gotten tired of it by now, but he wasn't complaining and even helped out a bit. Sorry for the trouble, Mabo.
別にお前のためじゃねえよ。お前の分はついでだからな。
Jesus Christ, Masatsugu. Fucking tsundere over here.
またまた葵大好きっ子なくせに。
Calm down, Kote. It's not that kind of story.
俺が愛してるのはあかりさんだ。
I took the cold sports drinks from Masatsugu and handed one to Kotori. There's no AC in the cockpit. It's like being in a greenhouse, so you have to make sure not to get dehydrated. Okay, about time to get going.
渓流解いて。
Since the wind was strong today, the glider was tied down to the ground. After it was released, Kotori headed off to the cockpit.
ああ、そうだ葵。一応非常食代わりにビスケットを。
Azage had called out to me, and as I went back to take the biscuits from her. Uh-oh. The wind suddenly changed direction. A gust of wind coming from the lake, the strongest one today, blew over the runway. When I turned my head at Amane-senpai's scream, what I saw was the glider being pushed by the gust of wind and a huge wing approaching a completely helpless Kotsuri. Kotsuri! The next instant, Kotsuri was hit by the main wing and thrown out of her wheelchair to the ground. Damn! Kotsuri! When I rushed over to her, she had lost consciousness. I paced back and forth in front of the dorm telephone.
落ち着きなって。
Jesus Christ. I felt like something was about to happen. Dang, bro, that fucking got clotheslined by the fucking wing. I was actually about to say that. It's kind of weird that they would unhook the airplane before you get in. That kind of feels like it defeats the purpose of having it tied down in the first place, right? Like, I would think that, okay, you get everybody inside and safe, especially when you have somebody in a wheelchair trying to get in, and then you unhook it and do your thing. Yeah. Despite my reply, my legs didn't stop. Kotsuri was taken to the hospital by an ambulance. Hibari-san went with her. She gave us a brief call a while ago. She told us there were no external wounds and that Kotsuri will be getting a thorough examination later. Luckily, the wing hit her wheelchair, so Kotsuri was only knocked out of it by the force of the impact. Hibari-san was supposed to call us when the examination was over, but the phone still hasn't rung. And when I was glaring at that silent phone, the doorbell rang annoyingly. It was followed by a furious banging on the door.
何?
Plot twist, Kotsuri's dead. Let's see who it is. Ageha backed up and opened the door. Standing there was Tobioka. You better have a goddamn good reason that you're here at this door right now, because I am not in the mood, okay, brother? Tobioka sensei?
ハバネは無事なのか?
Tobioka yelled as soon as he saw me. How did he know? Why was he that frantic? Various questions popped into my mind, but only for a moment. She's still at the hospital.
どこの病院だ?
I told him the directions I had heard from Hibari-san. I was told she had no visible injuries. They should be giving her a thorough examination right now. On a closer look, Tobioka was sweating a lot. Beads of sweat formed on his forehead. He was breathing heavily, and his thinning hair was disheveled too. Dishelmed too. As if he ran here as soon as he heard about the accident. Wait, it seems like he really did. Morino-sensei should be at the hospital. Morino-sensei is our homeroom teacher. It was suspicious that Tobioka, who isn't our homeroom teacher or anything, rushed all the way out here so flustered.
どうかしたのか？すごい音がしていたけど。
Amane-senpai, who was in the dining room, came out to see what the commotion was all about. Tobioka glared at senpai as soon as he saw her.
望月、これはお前の責任だぞ。お前が顧問を引き受けたりしたからだ。また同じことを繰り返すつもりか?
Okay. I'm starting to connect dots here. Amane-senpai was petrified by that menacing yell. Then Tobioka glared at us angrily.
無許可の校外活動で事故を起こした。もう言い逃れはさせんぞ。ソアリング部は無期限の活動停止。あの忌々しいグライダーも没収だ。もしまた違反したら処分してやるから覚悟しろ。
With these words filled with hatred, he quickly left. He probably went to the hospital because he'd been taken to.
何だったの？
Beats me. Tobioka was mad. That was understandable. However, I could see that his concern for Kotsuri was even stronger than his anger. He wasn't our homeroom teacher or advisor. He didn't even have all that much contact with us. He had no reason to give Kotsuri any special treatment. That kind of reaction might have been natural for a teacher, but still, it was surprising in his case.
私の責任だ。
Senpai said with a sigh.
だから、そうじゃないですってば。
We'd repeated this conversation a number of times after Kotsuri had been taken to the hospital.
顧問っていうのは建前みたいなもので、責任は私らにあるんです。
We asked Senpai because Akari-san said we couldn't be recognized as a club until we had an advisor. That was just a front. We thought we would take all responsibility if something were to happen. However, in reality, that responsibility would also fall on Amane-senpai.
いや、でも引き受けたのは私だ。飛岡先生が怒るのは当然だ。先輩。
Okay, before we delve a little bit deeper, because I have a feeling this is all going to be revealed pretty soon here, I kind of have a theory. Well, I mean, I don't think it's much of a theory. I think this is just kind of what they're hinting at. So, you know, we had this whole thing with our previous senpai at the club. I forget what their fucking name was. But anyways, you know, this senpai that had gotten Amane into the soaring club. There was some kind of accident that happened, and that senpai disappeared, right? We don't know if they died, if they just left, if they got really badly injured. We don't know at all what happened. But considering that Amane had this whole moment of, oh, the winds are really strong today, you know, like she's, you know, she was absent-mindedly staring into the clouds, right? I think, and you know, especially with Tobioka now rushing in here being like, oh, you know, don't you want something like what happened back then to happen again? So I think whatever accident that happened in the past soaring club maybe had to do with sudden surprise strong winds, right? Clearly Tobioka had some kind of deeper connection with I think her name was like Iroha or something like that. But anyways, with his previous club senpai, clearly he had some kind of connection with her. Whether he was, you know, maybe she was like his star student. Maybe he was related to her in some kind of way. You know, clearly there's strong, the reason that he hates Amane senpai and also the reason that he hates the soaring club as a whole is because he blames those things and those people for whatever happened to this club senpai. I don't think that they would have died, just because I feel like that would have kind of been a much bigger thing. But clearly it was an accident bad enough to not only make that senpai just straight up disappear, or just leave without really saying much of a goodbye, or like leaving much of a trace, but then for Tobioka to hold this very long-standing grudge against Amane and the Soaring Club. So we couldn't find any words to console her. All we could do was pray for Kotsuri to be okay. Yes, I see. I'm glad to hear that. Yeah, I got it. Thank you very much for calling me. Please give her my best regards. I let out a sigh of relief and put down the phone.
なんだって？
They didn't find anything wrong. Kotsuri will be spending the night at the hospital just to be safe.
よかった。よかったです。
That call just now was from Hibari-san. She called to say that Kotsuri's examination didn't show any problems, but that she would also stay at the hospital tonight.
無事だったみたいね。
Kaneko-san, who passed down the hallway, gasped based off our expressions. I'm sorry for worrying you.
本当だよ。ねえ、ハット先輩。こわこわ。
Hat quacked sadly. While there was no way he understood the situation, he did sense there's something wrong since his partner didn't come home.
ゆかさんたちにも教えてこようっ
Kaneko-san took Hat and they went to the dining hall.
と。それじゃあ、私そろそろ帰るね。
Okay, I'll go escort you for a bit. What about you, Amane-senpai? If you want to stay here, I'll prepare a room for you.
いや、仕事があるから戻るよ。何かあったら知らせてほしい。
Understood. After we confirmed that Kotsuri was okay, we were finally able to move away from the phone. I went outside with the Geiha. I hear a lot less cicadas lately.
もう夏も終わりだもんね。
After a few days, it'll be September, and summer vacation will be over. So much had happened to us this month that it was over before any of us knew it. Suddenly, Ageha stopped. What's wrong?
葵、
Oh? Ageha grasped my hand with both her hands. Hey, Her hands were trembling. And not just her hands, her shoulders, her knees, her lips too. It was as if her entire body was shivering.
安心したら急に怖くなってきちゃって。ごめん、ちょっとの間だけ。
Okay. I gave her a brief reply and squeezed her hands back.
倒れてる小鳥を見たとき、すごく怖かった。小鳥にもしものことがあったらどうしようって。怖くて。
While she was whispering this, Ageha was shivering as if she was freezing. The feeling as if your body was frozen. I also experienced it back then. It was a truly horrifying, chilling moment. I put more strength in my hand that held Ageha's. I'm not sure if it was to comfort her or myself.
少し落ち着いた。
Ageha let go of my hands.
ありがとう、葵。
Don't mention it. I feel a bit relieved myself.
小鳥には後でちゃんと謝っとくね。葵の手を借りちゃったって。
Back to her usual self, Ageha grinned and laughed. Then we started walking again.
日が沈んでく。
Ageha whispered as she looked up the gentle hill road we were walking on. Illuminated by the sun, the sky and clouds were glittering orange.
この分じゃ明日も来そうにないね。
Seems so. On the day before the morning glory appears, the eastern sky should be dyed purple. Last year we saw a bluish purple sky, and the morning after that a cloud appeared that Amane called an unformed morning glory. Tonight's sunset was orange as always. That means the morning glory won't be coming tomorrow. I'm glad it won't appear while Kotsuri isn't here.
本当だよ。そんなことになったらあの子一生根に持つよ。
Oh yeah, what happened to the glider?
あ、見てあれ。
We could see about 5 figures on the runway. They were dismantling the glider that we left being covered by a sheet.
先生たちだ。
We recognized the teachers from our school. Hey, what are you doing?
おい、みなせ。邪魔するんじゃな
Oh
い
no,
ぞ。
we throwing hands, baby. Tobioka.
言っただろう。グライダーは没収すると。もともと、お前たちが学校から盗み出したものだがな。
They took off the main wing and dumped it into the back of a truck.
やめて。そんな積み方したら翼が。
Ageha rushed over to the teachers.
このトレーラーを使ってください。
We left a special trailer here to bring the glider back later. Ageha realized she couldn't stop the conversation of the glider, so she helped them load it onto the trailer instead. To prevent the glider from getting damaged at the very least.
葵も手伝って。
Okay.
いい心がけだ。
Tobioka, you're holy fucking shit, bro. We showed the teachers how to dismantle the glider and loaded it on the trailer.
積み込みが完了したら、学校へ運んでください。
Tobioka instructed the other teachers. What are you planning to do with the glider?
お前たちには関係ない。言っておくが、次もし盗っ人のような真似をしたら、
Mission
た
impossible,
だでは
baby.
済まさんぞ。
Mission impossible. We've spent our entire school careers thus far building this glider by hand, piece by piece, training, practicing, maintaining it. Bro, I don't give a fuck if you lock it up in Fort Knox. I am taking that thing back out and I'm flying it. You could fucking shoot me down out of the sky with a SAM missile and I would still do the same thing over and over again. Grr.
それでは、車を出してください。
The car pulling the trailer started driving away. After seeing it off, Tobioka went over to another car and put his hand on the door handle. At that moment, he turned his head to look at something. When he noticed my gaze, he got into the car as if nothing happened and drove off the runway. All we could do was see him leave. Come on, guys. Operation Steal the Glider Part 2. The next day.
たったいまー。
A bit past noon, Hibari-san brought Kotari back.
姉さん、ストップ。
Asa-chan was about to jump at Kotari, but Yori-chan pulled her to a stop.
病み上がりだってば姉さん。クックッ。
In exchange, Hat jumped onto Kotari's lap.
ただいま、ハット。
When we saw her like this, we all let out a sigh of relief. Everyone had been waiting for her return.
いやー、なんか悪いわね。勢ぞろいでお出迎えしてくれちゃって。ほんと、何様だよ、あんた。
Is everything alright?
なんともないわよ。ちょっと頭を打っただけだから。軽い脳震盪だってさ。本当は昨日のうちに帰りたかったんだけど、ひばり姉が心配性でさ。でもほら、もうこの通りピンピンしてるから。
Sorry. Kotari was unusually talkative and was acting very lively. One part of her wheelchair was crushed, though. That must be the place that the main wing hit. Just by looking at the damage, I could tell how strong the impact was. I'm sorry, Kotari.
なんで葵が謝るのよ。
It's because I left your side back then that...
それは違うでしょ。私が勝手に離れたんだから。あれは私の不注意。他の誰も悪くありません。それになんともなかったんだから問題ないでしょ。
After Kotari said this so cheerfully, Hibari-san looked at her with a troubled expression.
さてと、そんじゃあ訓練を再開しましょう。え？
Practice, but you...
だって昨日中途半端になっちゃったでしょ。まだ本番を想定したフライトできてないし、病院の窓から空を見ながら気が気じゃなかったわよ。今モーニンググローリーが来ちゃったらどうしようって。さあ行きましょう。時間がもうバカなこと言わないで。
The pale Hibari-san suddenly shouted.
昨日あんなことがあったばかりなのよ。あんなことって別に大した怪我じゃなかったんだし、たまたま運が良かっただけよ。 また同じことがあったら次はどうなるかわからないわ。お願いひばりね、モーニンググローリーがもう来ちゃうの。多分今夜か、そうじゃないなら明日か明後日か。もう時間がないの。ダメよ、許さないわ。ひばりね。
Koseki, you should take it easy for now. Besides,
葵まで休んでる暇なんてないの知ってるくせに。私なら大丈夫よ。お医者さんのお墨付きももらってきたんだから。
I hesitated to tell her that the glider got confiscated. If I told her, she would be devastated. I'm sure she would feel responsible for that. When I was hesitating, Hibari-san started speaking.
もうダメなの、小鳥ちゃん。たとえ私がいいって言っても続けられないわ。どういうこと？
The doorbell rang. Oh, here comes Daddy. We weren't expecting anyone at this hour. Perhaps it's our homeroom teacher or someone similar. Yeah, I mean, I don't really blame Hibari-san on this one. You know, I feel like it's kind of a responsibility to tell your parents that, hey, by the way, you know, my sister's gotten a really bad accident. I'll be right there. When I opened the door, a man clad in a perfectly fitting suit walked in.
お父さん？
小鳥。
When he saw his daughter, he rushed over to her and kneeled down next to her wheelchair.
頭を打ったんだって。大丈夫なのかい？
平気よ。なんともないわ。
けれど、昨日は入院したんだろ？
ただの検査入院。ちょっと坂道で転んだだけだから。小鳥ちゃん、お父さんは全部ご存知よ。昨日全部お話ししたの。事故の原因も小鳥ちゃんが隠れてやっていたことも。
Koteri's father looked at her sadly without saying anything. Koteri turned to Hibari-san.
約束が違う。夏休みが終わるまで待ってくれるって言ってたのに。言わないわけにはいかないでしょ。でもそんなことをしたらお父さんたちが。
Koteri peeked at her father, checking his expression. And when she met his sad eyes fixed on her, she turned her head away awkwardly.
私たちがどんなに心配するかちゃんと分かっていたんだね。それなのに。
違うの、お父さん。だってそうしないと許してくれないから。だから。
当たり前じゃないか。お前は自分がどうしてそんな体になってしまったのか忘れたのか。
Koteri shook her head.
じゃあどうしてグライダーなんて危険な乗り物に乗ったりしたんだ。
Her father's voice was quiet yet reproachful. Koteri didn't reply and hung her head.
お願いお父さん。夏休みが終わるまででいいの。私にグライダーを続けさせて。
ダメだ。
お父さん。
そんな危険な遊び続けさせるわけにはいかない。
私ここにいるみんなと一緒に頑張ってきたの。この夏のために。遊びじゃないの、真剣なの。
Koteri's father looked at her sadly.
グライダーで空を飛んだからなんだと言うんだ。そんなもの危険なだけじゃないか。遊びたいならもっと他のことをすればいい。
違うの、そうじゃないの。
Koteri was frantically trying to appeal to him, but she couldn't find the right words to express her feelings. That is, why she wanted to fly, why it had to be a glider. Words that could describe those desires. No matter what she said, those aren't things that can be conveyed easily. Looking at his daughter struggling for words, he sighed deeply.
もうここには置いておけない。
Come on, Allie, step in here, brother, come
お
on!
父さんと一緒に家へ帰ろう。
そんな、待ってよ、話を聞いてよ。
Koteri raised her head reflexively, but her father ignored her and tried to take her out. Please wait, Habane-san. I couldn't bear it, so I stepped in front of her father.
水瀬さん。
Come on, Aoi-kun. Here's the time to show your balls, brother. I felt slightly bewildered by his discerning eyes. The other day when we talked on the phone, he had put his trust in me. However, I had betrayed that trust. Just like Koteri, I kept everything a secret from him. We're all working seriously to make the dream of flying through the sky come true. You told me on the phone, right? That Koteri changed because of me. But that was wrong. It was all thanks to the glider and all of her friends here. Koteri nodded desperately. This time there was an accident, but our goal is right before our eyes already. If you say Kotari can't fly, she won't, but at least let her witness this. I bowed my head, putting all my honest feelings into it.
私からもお願いします。お願いします。小鳥先輩のお父さん。お願いします。
Kotari's father looked at each of the sewing club members, bowing their heads.
この子がハンデを負っていることはあなたたちもよくご存知のはずだ。あなたたちが普通にできることもこの子にはできないんですよ。
He spoke in a quiet yet grave tone.
この子をあなたたち普通の若者の夢に
Damn, normal people.
巻き込まないでやってく
They
ださい。
squeeze me.
お父さん、そんな言い方やめて。
本当のことだ。
Ooh. You could not have chosen a more inappropriate choice of words. Don't involve her in the dreams of normal people. Wow, that probably hit harder than the fucking wing to her wheelchair, huh? Kotari turned pale as she heard her father's words.
私、すごく頑張ったのよ。いっぱい練習して上手になったの。ちゃんと自分で操縦して飛べるようにもなったんだから。
それはここにいる皆さんの助けがあってのことだろ。
それにグライダーはとっても安全な乗り物なんだから。だから私が乗ったって。
お前が家を出るとき私たちに言ったことを覚えているかい？お前はこう言ったんだ。お父さんたちに心配をかけてばかりなのが嫌だ。
その気持ちは今も変わってない。
As she said that, her father ran his hands over the damaged part of the wheelchair.
たまたま当たったのが車椅子だったからよかった。もし体のどこか頭にでも当たっていたらどうなっていたか。さあ帰ろう小鳥。お母さんも心配してる。早く安心させてやってくれ。
All right, let me get my 2 cents here, right? So beforehand I was very critical of them, of the family, right? Now don't get me wrong, I get it. Like, the trauma isn't only restricted to the victim directly. Obviously, when you watch your daughter involved in a air balloon accident bad enough to leave her permanently crippled, you tend to be a little overprotective. And by that I mean a lot overprotective. And obviously you worry. But again, that is something where, especially in this kind of case, I feel like, and again, I want to clarify, right? This isn't something where I'm trying to be like, oh, well, he should just let her do what she wants and treat her completely, as if she's fully functioning. Because I get that as a parent, that's not something that's very easy to just, do after something like this happens. But I think that they've taken it to a point where they have quite literally driven her out of the home. She wasn't just leaving. She was literally running away because of how bad they were making her feel. Now, he is right in the sense that, yeah, there are a lot of things a handicapped person bound to a wheelchair just can't do. She's probably never going to be able to ride a bike. She's probably never going to be able to, run freely, join a track team, shit like that, right? Without very special specifications, such as a Special Olympics, right? But at the same time, I feel like as a parent, you should eventually come around to the point where you realize I'm not the one who had everything taken away from me. And the fact that she has found something that she is so clearly passionate about, that most people who aren't crippled would never even dream of being able to pilot something like a glider, let alone a plane or a helicopter, any kind of flying object. And yet here she is doing it. And there's, I agree, like there's a hiccup in the process, but it's the fact of, yeah, we're going to count our blessings, right? She didn't get seriously hurt, and we're going to move forward knowing now knowing, okay, we need to stay cautious at all times. So on one side, I get it. On the other side, I think he's being way too overprotective and unconsiderate of his daughter, especially with the shit he's saying about her not being a normal person. That's really fucked up. Anyways, that's my little quip there. He pushed her wheelchair. If I don't do anything, he'll take Kotsuri away. Wait! Kotsuri grabbed the wheels and stopped them.
小鳥、
ここにいさせて。グライダーやめるから。もう乗らないから。だからお願い。私、ここにいたいの。
Kotsuri's father turned his sorrowful eyes at his daughter, who broke down crying.
お父さんたちの気持ちも分かってくれ。
That's the problem. Like, the thing, Kotsuri fully understands your feelings, but you have to understand hers. Like, you know? No, Kotsuri, don't cry.
帰りたくない。
小鳥、
ねえお父さん、小鳥ちゃんに少し時間をあげて。今夜は私が小鳥ちゃんを引き取るから、少し落ち着いてからお話ししましょうね。小鳥ちゃんもそうしましょう。
Kotsuri agreed, and her father silently nodded.
また迎えに行く。それまでこの子を頼む。小鳥、後でお母さんに電話して元気な声を聞かせてあげておくれ。
分かった。
Hibari-san bowed to us slightly and began pushing Kotsuri's wheelchair. Kotsuri! Kotsuri's going to leave. Reflexively, I chased after them, but Kotsuri's father stood in my way.
これは私たち家族の問題なんです。
Aoi, don't fucking take that shit. He said this with a bitter expression, bowed, and then left. Aoi, you took that? You let him talk to you like that? Oh my god. Oh. Bro. After we had a whole thing with Kotsuri about, oh hey, yeah, I want you to be, more involved in this stuff, I want you to be more active in my family matters. We had a whole fucking emotional scene where that shit played out. We fought over it and then came to that conclusion. And brother, I get he's her dad, but there comes a point. After Kotsuri was taken away, everyone gathered for no particular reason in the dining hall in low spirits. I didn't feel like being alone, so I started doing some doormother work in the kitchen.
小鳥先輩、戻ってきますよね。当然でしょ。本人がそれを望んでるんだから。それにしても、娘の話もろくに聞かずに。
Preach, Yoru,
ひ
preach.
どい親。
I guess it can't be helped. I whispered across the counter and everyone looked at me. When we saw Kotsuri unconscious after the accident, we were all so worried. No, scared. My words revived everyone's feelings for the moment, and their expressions darkened. I think her father, who heard about it while being so far away in Tokyo, must have been really terrified.
うん。だろうね。だからって、あんな言い方ひどいです。小鳥先輩が、私たちと同じ夢を見られないなんて。
Please don't involve her in the dreams of normal people like yourselves. Even though it wasn't about me, when I heard her father's words, I felt as if my heart was gouged out. I'd always been watching over her. Seeing her great efforts and dream not being recognized was frustrating. I wonder how Kotsuri felt when she heard that. The doorbell rang.
葵くん、ひばりさん来てるよ。
Everyone looked up as Kaneko-san called for me. I dried off my hands and hurried to the entrance.
先ほどは父が失礼をしました。
No, I should apologize for butting in too. Anyway, how's Kotsuri?
今私の家にいます。泣き疲れて眠ってしまいました。落ち着いたら今夜にでも父と話し合ってもらうつもりです。
I see. I was relieved to know she wouldn't be taken back home immediately.
父の態度に気を悪くされたでしょう。
No, something like that was...
父も今は事故やグライダーのことを急に聞かされ気が動転しているんだと思います。ショックだったと思います。私もそうでしたから。
The fact we were hiding something so important was revealed in the worst possible way. Considering that, he was quite calm, even gentlemanly. I'm sorry that I didn't say anything.
小鳥ちゃんの事故のことをご存じなければしょうがないと思います。それに悪いのは心配をかけるのを分かっていて黙っていたあの子ですから。
What's going to happen with her? Hibari-san shook her head with an expression that told me she didn't know.
父と小鳥ちゃんの話し合い次第だと思います。
If he's opposed to it, she'll never lay a finger on a glider again. Could you try to convince him to let her stay here at least?
そう約束していただけるなら私からも父に頼んでみます。
Please, I'd be obliged. I bowed my head. Hibari-san also gave a little bow and left.
どうだったひばりさん、なんてあの人、どうなるの
When I returned to the dining hall, everyone rushed up to me. I pushed them aside and entered the dining hall. I don't know anything yet. Kotori's going to talk with her father this evening. Hibari-san seems to understand our position. I think she's on Kotori's side. There's one condition, though. Kotori can't fly the glider again.
よかった。
Asa-chan dropped down in a chair when the tension left her. Ageha and Yoru weren't that relieved, though.
今は待つしかないってことね。
Yeah, that's why we should focus on things we can do. So that we can fly when Kotori comes back. Steal the glider. Kill Tobioka, steal the glider. After finishing my kitchen work, I headed back to the room for a breather. I got a little tired from all that stress that had been building up since yesterday. I laid on my bed and closed my eyes. Kotori. Please let me stay here. I'll give up on the glider. I won't fly anymore. So please, I want to be here. When I remembered Kotori shedding tears and frantically pleading with her father, I felt a crushing pain in my chest. Yeah, brother, and you didn't do shit about it, now did you? I honestly thought that as long as Kotori came back, it'd be fine even if we couldn't fly over the Morning Glory. I'd even accepted her giving up on the glider. If we promised that, perhaps Kotori's father would allow her to be here. I wanted to hear Kotori's voice. When I thought that, I pulled out my cell phone. I selected Kotori's number from my contact list. But I stopped. Kotori and her father may have already started talking. If I called now, I would just be a nuisance. Just as I closed my phone and was about to put it back into my pocket, it suddenly rang. I instantly opened it again and checked the screen. Ageha. Ageha's calling. She went home just a little while ago. Hello? Her voice sounded urgent. Calm down. Where should I go? Bring the gun, Aoi. Bring the gun. I took Asa-chan and Yoru-chan with me and we ran to the runway. Ageha and An-chan were there. An-chan had lifted the cover out the side of the winch and was looking inside. Ageha rushed over as soon as she saw me. Are you crying? Her eyes were red and filled with tears.
どうしたんですか一体何が
An-chan raised his head.
こりゃ重傷だな。
I was at a loss for words when I looked inside myself. What the hell is this?
何これ
The machinery inside was completely destroyed.
修理するにしてもちょっとやそっとじゃ治らんぞ。
That motherfucker! Okay, you wanna be like, oh, well, you got into an accident, so we're taking your shit. But then you're gonna go out of the way to sabotage a machine that you don't own? And even if you did own it, that's destruction of school property. Either way, it's fucking illegal, motherfucker. Oh my god, bro. I knew we should have fucking beaten Tobioka's head in with the hammer before we let all this shit happen, bro. An-chan said at a loss. What's the meaning of this? Just who in the world could... That's all I said before it occurred to me. There's only one person who could have done this.
昨日グライダーを持って行かれる時飛岡先生の態度が変だったから気になって見に来たの。そしたらこんなことに。
Did he do this?
わからない。でも
I clenched my fist so hard my nails dug into my palms.
ひどすぎます。許せない。
Aoi, if there has ever been a moment for you to crash out, it is right now, dude. It is right now.
どうしよう、葵。これじゃもう飛べないよ。
This motherfucker. Listen, dude, I get that he has his own problems too. This motherfucker has been out for us day one, dude. Day one. He takes our glider, fucking destroys our club room, our garage. And then even when we, go through all this shit to not be in his way, he still finds a reason to fucking take our glider again and then sabotages our machinery. At this point, I wouldn't be surprised if he set explosives under the runway. As she muttered this in a tearful voice, I firmly embraced her shoulders. She staggered and leaned on me.
なんでなの。昨日まではあとちょっとで手が届きそうだったのに、なんもかもいきなり全部なくなっちゃったよ。
Not only did we lose the glider, our wings, but the winch was broken too. It means we've lost all means of getting up into the sky. I'm sorry, bro, but if I went through all of this shit, if hell, I'm not even talking about discovering what Tobioka did to our fucking winch. I'm talking about even before this with fucking with Kotsuri's father, dude. If this motherfucker comes in here like, oh yeah, by the way, all the shit that you've been doing, and this, the very thing that got Kotsuri to come out of her shell to really find a purpose to fucking really live again, make friends, get into a relationship with Aoi. After all this shit, and you're just gonna come in and say, yeah, but I don't like it, so I'm shutting it all down. I'm crashing out at that. But then when I find out that Tobioka's done fucking sabotaged our machine, bro, I am finding out where he lives, I'm following him home, and I'm setting his house on fire. What the fuck is Tobioka? How's Tobioka gonna stop us when he's too busy dealing with putting out his fucking house? Huh? I mean, dude. I'll give it to Aoi. He has a lot. He has a much better control over his emotions than I would in this situation, because this is some bullshit. After escorting Gei to her home, I returned to the dorm with Asa-chan and Yoru-chan. All three of us were hanging our heads depressed and on the verge of tears from unbearable frustration. Why did all of this happen to us? Perplexed by the crooked, evident malice in feeling the loss of our wings, we were overwhelmed by depression.
大丈夫か?
No, Anchan. I'm not okay. Yeah, I'm fine. Thanks for coming. Anchan didn't come as soon as Ageha called him. When I came there, Ageha already seemed like she was about to cry. If he hadn't come, she probably would have broken down in tears by then.
何? お前らが困ってるならいつでも駆けつけるさ.
He said and looked at me with worry.
大変だったみたいだな.
Well, yeah. I didn't say anything else. If I started talking about it even a little, I probably wouldn't be able to stop. I wanted to tell him everything. The urge to act like a spoiled child throbbed in my chest. He must have known how I felt since he just patted my head without saying anything.
それじゃあもう行くよ. そろそろ戻らないとおやすさんにどやされる.
Okay, I'm really grateful to you. I lightly waved my hands and Anchan turned to leave, but he didn't move his feet. What's the matter, Anchan?
飛岡先生があそこまでやるのはもしかすると俺たちのせいかもしれない.
What do you mean?
いや、すまん。忘れてくれ.
I'm so sick and tired of people fucking dancing around whatever the fuck happened. Please, bro. Can you not see how much distress that it has caused thus far? Can you please just tell us why the fuck Tobioka has it out for us. Because clearly something happened. You know what happened. You're not telling us. It's kind of fucking our whole mojo up. Anshan spoke in an evasive manner, completely unlike him. I wondered how strange it was as I watched his retreating figure. When I closed the doors behind me, I sighed involuntarily. The winch was completely destroyed. Anshan said that he'd try to fix it as quickly as possible, but no matter how fast he works, repairs will take more than a week. No, in the worst case, it might be beyond repair. I wonder if we'll really fly again. My willpower waned. Even standing felt tiresome, so I threw myself onto the bed. Then I opened up my cell phone as if I was looking for salvation. One new message. Huh? I didn't notice that I got a message at some point. Sender Kotori. Whoa! I jumped on the bed and opened the message. I'll definitely come back. A brief message, apparently written in a hurry. But even just that was enough to make me feel my withered energy boil up again. I wrote a reply right away. Okay, I'm waiting. I also kept it short, just enough to convey what I wanted. Then I closed my phone and got up. Time to kill Tobioka. Let's go, baby. Huh? Ageha. When I entered the secret base, Ageha was there. What are you doing here? I saw her off to her house just a while ago.
そっちこそ。
Well, I was just wondering if there was anything I could do.
私もそんなとこ。
Kill Tobioka.
ここでくじけてちゃあいつらの思うツボだもんね。
Yeah. Without delay, I decided to tell Ageha what I'd come up with on my way here. Remember that rubber cord that Yoru-chan had found a while ago? I wonder if we could use that. Ageha grinned.
私もそれ考えてたとこ。
Who needs a winch when we have elastic? Could we really launch the glider with this?
さあどうなんだろう。
It was a rope made of a bunch of rubber bands put together. It was quite long and it had a metal ring attached right in the middle. It looked like it was designed to be attached to the glider's hook. Yoda-chan had found it in his warehouse. Through a little research, Ageha found out that it was used for launching gliders. Apparently it relies on the force of the stretched rubber to sling them into the air. I can't quite imagine that.
だよね。
Someone else entered the dock.
先輩、二人ともどうしたの？それはこっちのセリフです。
It seems Asa-chan and Yoru-chan were thinking along the same lines as us. They thought there might be something that could be done and came here.
ひひひ。へこたれないね。私らも。
Even though we pretty much got driven into a corner.
ソアリング部の人たちって単純っていうか心は一つってことですね。
I decided the time was right, so I pulled up my cell phone and showed it to everyone. I got a message from Kotori earlier.
嘘、本当ですか？なんて書いてあったの？
I'll definitely come back. Everyone fixed their eyes on that short message in silence. No matter how much they stared at it, there was no other meaning hidden amongst those 4 words.
こりゃあの子が戻ってきた時離陸準備ができてないとどやされるわね。
If we just sit around helplessly doing nothing, she'll be mad, no doubt about it. When I said this, everyone chuckled as they remembered the time Kotori flipped out. Alright, first let's look this up a bit. Ageha had gathered plenty of information from the internet. We all peered at the computer screen. Rubber cord towing, that's how it's called. Launching via winch is called winch towing, while using a rubber cord is called rubber cord towing.
別名パチンコエゴ？
The middle point of a long rubber cord is attached to the glider. Both its ends are pulled, and then the plane is hurled into the air resembling a slingshot. This slingshot doesn't shoot bullets though, unlike the one used by Usopp from One Piece. Ugh. One Piece.
なんかすごい原始的ね。
Don't flame me in the comments for that comment, okay? It's very primitive. It is very primitive. But you know what they say, man. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Can we really launch like this?
さあ、あ、ここに動画があるよ。
Ageha clicked on the video to open it. It was a clip showing a glider launched via rubber cord towing somewhere by a riverbed. It was a rather strange sight to us. First, the ring on the rubber cord was attached to the hook that we used for the winch rope. Then the glider was fixed in place, while the cord was pulled by just human strength. A number of people were doing something that resembled a tug of war. When the cord was stretched to a certain extent, the pilot released the brake and...
うわ、
Seeing the video, Yoda-chan groaned reflexively.
飛びましたね。ちょっぴりだ
The glider flew up 1 or 2 meters at best. It didn't even cover 10 meters. Ageha read the explanation.
け。うんうん。これはもともとと軽いグライダーを飛ばすのに用いる方法らしいわね。だからうちの複座式となると、
That means we just have
ちょっ
to
と
pull
厳
it
しい
back
かも。
far enough. Or, kill Tobioka. Kill Tobioka, steal his credit card, buy a new winch, and then use that winch. And then we steal back our glider, right? Stay with me now, alright? Come on, that sounds like a terrible idea. It's like five birds with a single stone. Since our glider carries 2 people, we have to take our weight into account too.
浮き上がるかどうかも怪しいわね。
There wouldn't be enough acceleration. Even if we could manage to fly up a little, getting above the clouds from there would be impossible. With that kind of acceleration, the glider would stall before it catched the thermal.
やっぱりウインチと人力じゃパワーに差がありすぎるか。複座式のグライダーを十分な高さまで上げようと思ったら、よほど強力で十分な長さのゴムがないと不可能だわ。
To do this, we'd also need a lot of manpower to pull it. It may be theoretically possible, but it's nearly unrealistic. And we don't have enough time to prepare such a cord now to begin with. I guess we can't launch it like this after all.
わかんない。まだ他に方法あるかも。
What if we just used like, you just get like a car, and so for, part of the distance, you have it be, the rope is stretched by the car, you release the brakes, and then it's simultaneously like launched by the rubber contracting while also being pulled by the car still. Come on. Think about kites here, right? Think about some kites. Set us up on the highway, have a car pull us until we manage to get lift, and then eventually we need to just have the car go fast enough until we're high enough. We detach the cord. Boom. Ageha began searching on the internet again. Okay, I'll leave this to you. I'll go look for the glider.
見てくるって？
Before we take it back, we have to find out where it's stored, right? Fuck yes, Aoi.
やだよ。
I brought Masatsuku to school and told him what I was up to, but he flat out rejected my request. Please do something.
なんとかってお前。今度バレたらただじゃ済まないんだぞ。
I don't care, I'll kill Tobioka if I have to. I won't tell anyone that I heard this from you, please.
なこと言っても、こないだのも俺だってバレてるし。
All I asked from him was just to help me find where the confiscated glider was being stored. Since he's part of student council, he can enter places ordinary students can't.
だいたいお前らだって今度逆らったらどうなるかわかんねえんだろ。
Well, yeah.
やめとけって。もうお前ら無茶しすぎだ。たかが空飛ぶ飛ばないって話だろ。どうしてそこまでやるんだよ。
Well, you'll see. I stopped mid-sentence.
お前まさか何も考えずにやってんのか？
No, I just hadn't sorted out my thoughts that far ahead, that's all. I could try to quickly think this through, but I couldn't quite describe these emotions right away. I can't say it that well, but it's probably because if I don't do this, I feel like I was betraying myself. I seriously did my best here. How can I not stay true to my own honest feelings? And back when I was flying with Kotsuki, looking straight up at the sky together, our thoughts really became one. There's no way I could betray that moment. Misatsuku looked like he didn't quite get it as he tilted his head to the side. And then he sighed.
お前ってやっぱかっこいいな。昔からさ、お前とかアゲハはやっぱ俺とは違うよ。
Really? Now it's my turn to be confused.
俺からすりゃお前らが憧れでずっと見上げて生きてきたってことだよ。
Is that so? Musatsuku gave me a frustrated look as I nodded, only half understanding what he was saying.
わかったよ、手伝ってやる。
Really?
幼馴染ってやつはつれえな。ずっと一緒にいるとバカが映っちまう。ただし絶対にあかりさんにはバレないように頼むぞ。もしバレたら俺の恋の行方が。
何のご相談かしら。
You know, I actually have a feeling that Akari might be very willing to help us out. Why are you here?
ここ学校よ。
That's true. But it's summer vacation.
クラブハウスの修繕費の見積もりを今日中に出さないといけないのよ。
She said in a jaded tone. She's really a hard worker.
というわけだ。悪かったな、葵。力になれなくて。
What? Damn you. Where did that whole nice talk from a moment... Wait, hold up, sorry. Where did that whole nice talk from just a moment ago go?
分かってくれよ。俺にとってあかりさんはお前らとの腐れ縁より何百倍も大事なんだ。
I don't know what Akiri-san was thinking when she was just expressionlessly looking at us, whispering to each other.
私も水瀬くんにお話があったんだけど、何やらお取り込み中のようね。
いえいえ、こいつとの話はもう終了したんで。な、葵。
No, we're not. But anyway, what did you want to talk about? It's quite unusual for Akiri-san to have some business with me.
幅根さんのこと、とても残念だけど、我々生徒会はあなたたちをかばうことはできません。
Yes, I understand. Oh shit, my bad.
ごめんなさい。
Sorry, you're not done talking, my bad. Let me wait. Anyways, yes, I understand. That's what we agreed upon from the beginning. I'm the one who should apologize. I'm terribly sorry for all the trouble we've caused. Akiri-san also took the responsibility for approving the soaring club of her own accord.
それは構わないわ。私が信念に基づきやったことだから。ただ、こうなってしまったことは残念だけど、私も見たかったわ。あなたたちのグライダーが飛ぶところを。
Akiri-san said and looked out the window.
望月先輩が何年もかけて追いかけていたものが何なのか、それが結実するところをこの目で見てみたかっ
Akiri-san.
た。お話というのはそれだけよ。
She returned to her businesslike attitude, turned around and started walking down the hallway. However, she stopped after a few steps. She stood still with her back to us.
あかりさん。
She turned around once again and briskly walked back.
昨日、飛岡先生たちが何やら大きなものを持って帰ってくるのを見
That's
か
my
けた
goat.
わ。
That's my goat. Huh?
中身は知らないし、特に興味もないのだけれど、どうやらそれはグラウンドにある体育遊具室に保管したみたい。あそこならしっかりと鍵がかけられますからね。
Okay. Why are you...
深い意味はないわ。世間話よ。悪いかしら。
She said in an irritated tone and turned back again.
それじゃ。
And this time, she actually left. Thank you very much. I bowed deeply, completely dumbfounded. Why did she tell me that?
さあ、飛岡のやり方に相当ムカムカ来てたからな。ああ、見えて怒ると怖いんだ。
The gym storeroom, huh? Hey man, you can get bolt cutters from Walmart for like fucking $20, alright? Come on, partner, let's go.
勝手に人を相棒にすんな。
I went towards the sports grounds, dragging the resisting Masatsugu along. Let's go, baby. As expected, the gym storeroom was locked. I only did a quick inspection and took my leave. Well, at least we learned where it's being kept. Now we could get it back if we needed to. Of course, it would be very risky. I hurried back to the secret base while thinking about this and that. As I was walking up a gentle hill road, I glanced towards the lake. The next moment, I started running.
綺麗ですね。
Oh, it's happening,
まる
isn't
で
it?
朝焼けみたい。ねえ、アゲハ先輩。あれって。ええ、多分。そうだと思う。
Ha! 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 I ran down the hill until I reached the runway. I placed both my hands on my knees as I tried to catch my breath. My cell phone had been ringing for some time now. I answered it without checking who it was. Hello?
葵、空を見て。
Yeah, I see it. I was standing in the middle of the runway where nothing was obstructing my view, and I looked up at the sky. The eastern sky was dyed bluish purple. To the west, the sky had the same orange color the sunset had always had. This is the sight we'd been waiting for all this time. The sky we'd been hoping and praying for. While I was gazing at that beautiful distant sunset painted with a complex gradient from bluish purple to deep vermilion, my body shivered. Delight, excitement, and patience, one by one, various emotions welled up inside of me.
ねえ、あれって間違いないよね。
Yeah, it's the sign. The morning glory is coming. Time to kill Topioka.
葵がいない間に他の方法も調べてみたんだけど、どれも今から準備するには厳しいわ。
Ageha searched for other ways to launch besides a winch or a rubber cord, but she didn't find anything we could prepare right away. Even though the signs had come.
もうちょっと調べてみる。
Okay, I'm counting on you. While I was replying, I checked my phone for any messages. However, there weren't any. I hadn't heard from Kotari since her last message. She should have talked with her father already. Since she hadn't contacted me, it probably meant that they still hadn't come to any conclusions. But I wrote Kotari a message. The sign appeared just now. Tomorrow morning, the morning glory will come. She'll definitely come back. Believing in that, I pressed the send button.
お夕飯買ってきました。
Asa-chan and Yoru-chan came back carrying big shopping bags.
おお、おかえり。おにぎりがあんまりなかったからサンドイッチを買ってきたわ。あと姉さんがおやつをたんまりと。ご苦労さん。
We decided to stay here tonight. I had the two of them stock up for stakeout.
そっちはどうですか？どれも今からじゃ厳しそう。ということ、今のところ残された方法はゴム柵だけってことね。
I believe in it. Yoru-chan made a hopeless expression.
小鳥先輩はどうなったんでしょう。
Ageha looked at me. I shook my head. She still hasn't contacted me.
モーニンググローリーがもう来ちゃうのに。ひばりさんに頼んでみたらどうかな。モーニンググローリーが来てる間だけこっちに連れてきてほしいって。
I'll wait a bit longer. If I don't hear back, I'll try that. If that was the true sign, the real thing will happen at dawn. And it only lasts 2 or 3 hours, so even that much would be enough.
けどそれもグライダーが飛べたらの話よ。機体もない、離陸もできないじゃ意味ないわ。だよね。皆さん、ご飯にしませんか？
Asa-chan suggested to brighten up our gloomy mood. That's right.
そういや、もうお腹ペコペコだわ。
Before we noticed, our usual mealtime had long since passed. Everyone grabbed whatever they liked. Rice balls, sandwiches, and such from the shopping bags. While waiting for her instant noodles, Ageha opened the rubber cord towing clip we saw earlier today. A large group of people pulled the cord, but the glider merely flew a few meters, and it was very simple light airframe. I can't imagine launching our two-seater with this method after all. Everyone stared at the screen, half resigned.
これはなんだい？これはゴム柵栄光のってうわ
Before we noticed, Amani-senpai was standing behind us, peeking at the computer screen over Ageha's shoulder. Amani-senpai, when the heck did you get here? She put her helmet on the desk and answered while looking at the screen.
さっきだ。入ってきても誰も気づかないからちょっとだけ傷ついたぞ。
We'd all been staring at the screen absent-mindedly, so it seemed we hadn't noticed her.
ゴム柵栄光。こんなやり方もあったのか。
She said in a genuinely interested way, so there are things even she doesn't know. She quickly started skimming through the materials Ige had found on the net.
なるほど。面白いなこれ。でもこれじゃあ私たちのグライダーは飛ばないな。
Senpai's words stabbed my heart. When Mochizuki Amane says something is impossible, it's impossible.
どうした？暗い顔をして。
Well, the truth is, I told Amane Senpai about the broken winch.
そうだったのか。それで他の発行方法を探していたんです。
Amane Senpai looked over the materials about the rubber cord towing once again. This time she was serious. Is it too difficult after all?
そうだな。
Senpai groaned while looking at the screen. I guess it's not good.
そういえば小鳥はどうしたんだ？
She said as if she'd just thought about it. And we suddenly realized something. Come to think of it, since so much had happened, we completely forgot to tell Amane about Kotsuri.
今日退院してくる予定だったよな。
Senpai looked worried. Oh yeah, she didn't seem to have any serious injuries. She's alright.
そうか。よかった。
But before that, I told Senpai what happened after Kotsuri got discharged.
そんなことがあったのか。それでまだ連絡はないのかい？
Yeah, not yet. Senpai got worried again.
さっき予兆が見えただろ。それでこっちへ来てみたんだ。きっと小鳥が飛ぶんだろうと思って。でもそうか。小鳥は飛べないのか。もし小鳥が無理でも飛ぶところを見せてあげたくていろいろ探してみたんですが。
We've almost given up, though.
残された方法はこの工作だけということか。
You might be cooked. Like I said. The kite method.
滑走路にジャンプ台をつけるのはどうでしょう。
Asa-chan suddenly spoke up. Everyone turned their attention towards her.
ゴムで引っ張りながらジャンプ台をグライダーがこう。
She explained this while making gestures with her hands. Basically, we would place a ramp on the runway, similar to those used in ski jumps, and the glider would be launched from it by the rubber cord.
うまくいけば少なくともこの動画よりは高く飛べそうね。でしょ？
Amane-senpai shook her head.
加速が足りない。仮に
Yes,
5、6メートル
I was about to say
くらいまで上がれたとしてもすぐに失速してしまう。
Or we could just kill Tobioka.
ジャンプ台を登るために勢いも犠牲にしてるしね。ダメですか。
Yeah, I mean, that would have been kind of like launch ramps on like Russian aircraft carriers, you know?
ジャンプ台を作るのは今すぐ取り掛かればギリギリいけなくもないかな。かなり無茶だけど。
In the end, the glider would have to ascend dozens of meters higher than that. If there isn't a strong lift right at the end of the jump ramp, would be kind of pointless. Everyone was deep in thought.
上昇気流を発生させる方法があればいいわけか。
That or launching it from the cliff. That could work. I said that half in despair, but Amane-senpai tapped her palm with her fist, having a sudden realization.
ああ、それでいいじゃないか。
Huh? Everyone looked at her in surprise.
そうかそうか。何も滑走路から飛び立つ必要はないんだな。いやでも危ないんじゃ。
Besides, even if we took off like that, if we can't ascend afterwards, there's no point, right? We could accelerate while falling from the cliff, but if we couldn't get any lift after that, ascending would be impossible. It would be fine if the glider was still at a reasonably high altitude after accelerating, but for that, we would need a suitably tall cliff. It's absurd after all. However, Senpai...
それで行こう。そうしよう。
She was nodding to herself as if she decided it.
紙と書くもの。はい、どうぞ。
Senpai took the paper and pen from Asa-chan and started drawing something extremely vigorously.
機体重量がおよそ 280kg。2人の体重が合計 100kg として。
The white sheet of paper got covered by formulas and drawings in no time.
紙。
Asa-chan handed her another sheet of paper as Senpai asked without even raising her head. Bleh.
それじゃ足りないわ。
Yori-chan grabbed a bunch of paper and tossed it down in front of Senpai. That didn't register with her, but she readily started accepting the new paper.
トランスモードだ。久しぶりに見た。
That's how she is when she fully concentrates on something. This was exactly like the first time I met her, when she was staring at the drawing board. When she's like this, she'll even forget about hunger. She'll even forget about hunger even though she's quite a big eater.
ふむふむ。なるほどね。その手があったか。
Yuru-chan peeked at the formulas Senpai was writing and nodded in agreement. Then,
時間がもったいない。私も手伝うわ。
saying that, she sat down next to Senpai and began similar calculations. We were shocked when we saw that. You're going to help?
一体何が始まっているの？なんだかちょっと怖いです。
We couldn't keep up with them. Oh fuck. No! Can I get back to the log, please? Okay. We couldn't keep up with this, so we just watched them completely dumbfounded. Skibble, 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 skibble. The sounds of two pens scribbling on paper was resounding almost without a single pause. Both Amani-senpai and Yoru-chan continued writing in silence. It almost looked like they were communicating in an entirely different language. We, that is, Ageha, Asa-chan, and I, moved a bit back and discussed another issue. According to the information from Akari-san, the glider's in the gym storeroom. There's one solid lock. It's not something you could break easily.
あそこならセキュリティはないわね。となると、問題はその鍵か。飛岡先生、見張ってるんじゃないでしょうか。
Kill Tobioka.
ありえるわね。あのおっさんなら。
Whether we could take off without the winch or not, we weren't worried about that anymore. When Amani-senpai gets serious, nothing is impossible. Now the only issue is how to recover the glider.
鍵を何とかしたとして、どうやって運ぶんですか？
Kill Tobioka's car.
そこなのよね。あんちゃんに頼めれば楽なんだけど。
Yeah, this time it's a bit. If what we're trying to do goes badly, it could even involve the police. Since we were students, the punishment probably would have been resolved within the school. That wouldn't be the case for An-chan. Everyone was already prepared to be punished by the school. If there was a way to fly, we'd do it. That's how we all felt. We could transport it like we did before. There's a bicycle shop with a wagon attached at the grocery shop in the Cosmos shopping district. It would be difficult, but we could load the disassembled glider into the cart and transport it with one person pedaling and a few people pushing from behind. The problem is that we have to do this without being found out by the teachers. Breaking the lock will be noisy. They'd definitely notice if we did that.
なるべく音がしない方法で壊すしかないわね。鉄の子じゃ。
Hacksaw's not an impossible idea.
針金でこうコチョコチョっと。
No, that's wrong. It only works like that in manga. While we were discussing various plans, little by little we started to feel like this was possible. We could fly above the morning glory very soon. The glider was confiscated and the winch was broken. For a moment, we thought everything was over. Even so, there's still something missing. I still haven't heard from Kotori. I looked at the clock. It's starting to get late tonight. There was still time until the crucial moment, but to think that it would take her so long. I checked my cell phone anxiously.
小鳥、遅いね。まだ連絡がないんですね。
Don't give up hope, guys. It's not over yet. Yeah. She did read my message, right? I couldn't believe she'd remain quiet if she knew that the signs had appeared.
たく、初めて会った時からだけど、人に世話焼かせる子だよ。
That's because she acts like a kid. As I replied while laughing, my phone rang. It wasn't a message, but a call. Hello?
あ、もしもし、葵くん？かなこだけど。
Kaneko-san?
あのさ、今ひばりさんが来てるんだけど、葵くんに渡したいものがあるって言ってるから、悪いけど戻ってこられる？
Yeah, I'll be right there. I closed my phone and stood up. I'll be right back. Breathing heavily, I was running up the hill. Why did Hibari-san come? Kotori isn't with her? What'd she want to give me? I was out of breath, but I kept running, urged by a bad premonition. Suddenly, the cell phone in my pocket signaled that I got a message. Huh? I stopped and checked my phone. It was from Kotori. The message had no title. I hesitated for a moment, but then I opened the message. I'm sorry I didn't call, but if I talked to you now, I'd probably lose my resolve. Resolve? My hands trembled and I almost dropped my phone. I grasped it with both hands as I continued reading. I talked to my father and decided to go back to Tokyo. I'm going to quit school by the end of summer break. I really wanted to stay in Kazugara, but I can't keep making my parents worry like this. After reading that, I blinked my eyes. I was shocked, but at the same time, I knew that something like this could happen. Spending this past year with you guys was really fun. It was really precious to me. I wish I had made a photo album. I'm sorry that it caused so much trouble for you all. Please don't mind me and make sure you fly above the morning glory. That's the only thing I want right now. And then, thank you for loving me, Ai. I won't forgive you even when I return to Tokyo. The message ended there. What the hell? My shaking hands were squeezing the phone tightly. I heard its plastic casing creaking. I came to my senses right away and called Kotari.
ただいま電話
Damn,
に
she
出られ
blocked
ません
us.
ご用の方は P という発信音の後に
Why? Why are you doing this, Kotari? I shouted unintentionally. Assaulted by my overwhelming depression, I almost threw my phone down on the ground. But I got a hold of myself and called a different number. Come on, answer. After calling plenty of times, probably more than 20, someone finally answered.
もしもしハバネです
Kotari!
葵
Kotari! Hearing Kotari's voice after what felt like ages, I felt relieved. I called Hibari-san's home. Since Kotari answered the phone, it means he's still there. I read your email. What's going on?
お母さんが倒れたの
Huh?
私のせいでお母さんが
My mind went blank for a moment. Those few words were enough to answer the question that was stirring my emotions so much. How is she? Is it something serious?
まだ寝込んでるって私がね電話で帰るって言ったらねすごく喜んでくれてお母さん泣いてた
You know, you know, tell me if I'm wrong to say this, but I really feel like this is some very manipulative shit going on by the parents. Oh, come back, Kotari, your mother collapsed because of you. Give up your dreams, your boyfriend, and all of your friends, and basically your entire life to come back with us. To the parents that don't even view you as a normal person. To the parents that, you know, view you in this super restrictive site. With the overprotective parents that you ran away from. Come back to us. Because, oh, your mother collapsed. These parents are pissing me off, man. Really fucking badly.
私ずっと自分を責めてたあの時気球に乗りたいってわがまま言ったせいでお父さんとお母さんを悲しませちゃったから私がこんな体になっちゃったせいで家族をめちゃくちゃにしちゃったから
That's not true. I wanted to say that reflexively, but words like those wouldn't console her right now.
だからもうそんなこと二度とないようにしようって思ってたのにまたやっちゃった私だって帰りたくないよけど今帰らないと今度こそ家族がバラバラになっちゃうそんなのもっと嫌なの
But then you... Damn. Could you really live like that? After quitting school and returning home. Kotari didn't say anything. After a short silence, she sighed.
1年前の私とは違うからあの時みたいに何もかも嫌になって逃げ帰ろうとしてるわけじゃないだって今の私にはたくさんいい思い出があるもん葵と出会ってアゲハや朝や夜やあまねちゃんや飛び嘘のみんなや学校にもたくさん友達ができて 楽しいこともいっぱいあった。彼氏ができて普通の女の子みたいな恋愛もした。それに空だって飛んだわ。それ全部葵たちと出会ってなかったら一生得られなかったかもしれないものばかり。もう十分よ。
But you still have something left to do, right? One really big thing. Did you read the message? The signs have appeared. It'll come in just a few hours. The morning glory.
それは私には過ぎた夢だから。
No, it isn't.
あるの？
But you can fly now and by yourself at that.
一人じゃまともにお風呂にも入れないのに空を飛べるのだってみんながいてくれるからよ。私一人じゃ飛べないわ。
Kotsuri. I couldn't believe it. It's like she was denying everything we'd done together up until now. As if all those happy, fun memories had never happened. It felt so frustrating and miserable that it almost brought me to tears.
葵と過ごせた1年間本当に楽しかった。私にとってきっと一生の宝物だよ。だからもう十分なの。
Something like that. It's not enough at all. Tears of vexation were mixed with my voice. Before I noticed, I'd started crying.
葵は飛んでモーニンググローリーを見上げることは私にもできるから。
She laughed a little as she said this. I could tell she was pretending to be strong with all her might. Or perhaps that really was the one last thing she wished for. I realized she'd hung up. You know, I went from I'm really pissed at these parents to fuck these parents. You treat your daughter like fucking shit. Like she's some subhuman, like, worm that should be coddled and that should be looked down upon. Oh, she's not normal. She shouldn't have dreams. She shouldn't chase those dreams. The shit she's fucking accomplished is something that most people with disabilities would never even dream of accomplishing because of people like her parents. So now you've driven your daughter out of your fucking home. She finally finds something that she loves doing. She's made friends. She's got a boyfriend. I've said this before, I know, but I can't fucking stop saying it. And so then when she gets into this, admittedly, you know, a minor, but admittedly, like, okay, I see how you can be worried about that. But you come here, you see how much support she has, how much she's changed from when she was depressed, living with you. But then you come back in here, you start spewing the same shit that caused her to run away from you in the first place, and then you pretty much guilt trip her into coming back because, oh, your mother collapsed because of you. You should come home. This is for the sake of your mother. This is for the sake of us and our family. If you leave again, you know, you're having her sit here thinking that if I leave again, if I go do what I love, if I go do what I want, if I go do the thing that brought me out of being this husk of myself, if I go do that, my family's going to fall apart and it's going to be my fault. You know, oh, it was my whims that caused this, right? It was my whims that caused me to become disabled, to put all this pressure on my family. It's my fault. I shouldn't follow my whims because I'm just hurting my family, yada, yada. That's bullshit. That is such fucking bullshit, and that pisses me off to no goddamn end, okay? That is like, making your daughter feel like that is the scummiest fucking thing a parent could ever goddamn do. I understand their position, but holy God, Lord Almighty, they are handling this the worst, most toxic, most manipulative way as they possibly fucking could. And I have no sympathy for them. Fuck them.
おかえりなさい。遅かったね。どうしたの？顔真っ青だけど。
No, I'm fine. Where's Hibari-san?
小鳥ちゃんの部屋にいる。
When I entered Koteri's room, Hibari-san was packing.
水瀬さん。
One look at my face told Hibari-san that I already knew the circumstances. She quietly closed the cardboard box packed with Koteri's textbooks.
たったこれだけなんですね。
Hibari-san muttered as she looked at the few small cardboard boxes that contained all of Koteri's belongings. Most of them were filled with clothes and everyday items, and the rest with textbooks. Aside from the stuffed toys that had been on the bed, Kotori didn't have a lot of personal stuff. She said that if she had too much stuff, it would get in her way. Hibari-san had a sad expression. I understood her feelings. Having only a few things made Kotori's very existence itself seem very small. Hibari-san sunk into silence and her eyes became clouded with tears.
どうすることが一番なのかわからない。私はやっぱりグライダーに乗ることは反対よ。あんな事故にあって足が動かなくなってしまったのにまだ空を飛びたいだなんて。私は小鳥ちゃんがグライダーから降りてくるのを見たとき心臓が止まるかと思ったわ。
See, notice how this is all about. When I saw her on the glider, I felt bad, right? I don't want her going on the glider because seeing her in the glider makes me feel bad. That's so fucking selfish.
でも小鳥ちゃんは飛んだんですよね。
Yeah, she wasn't afraid at all. Even I was surprised by that. She was slightly nervous, but she never showed a hint of fear of the sky.
私今でも水瀬さんたちに感謝しているし風ヶ浦に来てよかったんだって思っています。小鳥ちゃんがまた元気になってくれたんだもの。それにもし小鳥ちゃんが皆さんと同じ夢を見られるのなら応援してあげたい。お父さんも本当はそう思っているはずなんです。
Saying that, she closed her eyes. Those words sounded like a prayer, a wish for them to be true.
でももし今ここに残れば今度こそ家族はバラバラになってしまう
Yeah,
か
well,
もしれない。
fuck your family. With how fucking terrible you people are, you deserve to fall apart, honestly. Your mother isn't doing so well? Fuck that bitch. I hope she
た
dies.
だの貧血だろうと言っていました。母はもともとあまり体が丈夫じゃなくて。
Oh, but you're conveniently playing it up to where it's Kotori's fault that she got bedridden. Nice.
私が実家へ連絡した時小鳥ちゃんの事故を先に知ったのはその時父は仕事で電話に出られなくて病院で父が一晩寄り添って少し良くなったと聞いています。
I see. Considering Kotori's condition, I'm sure her mother had much more worries than most parents. So to hear about an accident, and one involving a glider at that, must have been a huge shock. Isn't there any way for Kotori to stay here? To avoid going as far as having her quit school? I got carried away by my emotions and my tone became rougher. Hibari-san quietly shook her head.
父も母も小鳥ちゃんと一緒に暮らすことを強く望んでいます。将来どうなるかは分かりませんが今すぐには。
But she has things she wants to do. What's going to happen with her later, with her entire future? Telling Hibari-san this won't change anything, but he couldn't help saying it. An unpleasant silence surrounded us. Suddenly, a duck peeked in through the little entrance at the bottom of the door.
Quack.
Hat entered the room and waddled over to Hibari-san's feet.
ハットちゃん。
Hibari-san leaned over and stroked Hat's back.
こや
Kotori hasn't come back, so he's been searching the dorm for her. Hat's always been making his rounds around the dorm on days when Kotori was late coming home.
そう。小鳥ちゃんからのことづてでハットちゃんをよろしくと言っていました。
No need to worry about this guy. He might get lonely, but even if he left him alone, he'd just keep on living and looking for food at his own convenience.
強いのね、ハットちゃんは。ガガ
Hibari-san's petting got Hat into a good mood. What's going to happen with Kotsuri now?
今夜はうちで預かって明日の朝父が迎えに来ることになっています。退学などの手続きはすべて父が行いますのでもうここへは。
Can I see her one more time before that? Please, Hibari-san. Please let me see her. Hibari-san stopped petting Hat, got up and took something out of her bag.
これを水瀬さんにって。
It was Isakun-san's flight log.
もう自分が持っておくべきものじゃないからって 水瀬さん？
Huh? Yeah.
それとこれも。
With a puzzled expression, Hibari-san handed me one more thing. What is this?
わかりません。水瀬さんに渡してほしいって。
It was a paper airplane. A plain, ordinary paper airplane. I immediately unfolded it, but there wasn't anything written on the paper.
荷物は後日引き取りに来ますので、それまで置いておいていただけませんか？
Okay. I cast my eyes down and Hibari-san looked at me with concern.
あの子が東京へ戻ったら連絡があると思います。それまでそっとしておいてあげてください。
She said apologetically and left. I was frozen in place for a moment. The fatigue suddenly overwhelmed me. I had no willpower to fight it. I sat on the bed, my eyes wandered to Izuka-san's flight log that I just received. She said it's not something she should have anymore. For Kozuri, everything begun with that notebook. It was because she found it in this room that she discovered the glider and flew herself. Returning it basically meant she'd already decided to return home. No, to throw it all away. Her feelings for the sky. I turned the pages to see if she had left a message somewhere, but there wasn't anything. It looked as it did before. I glanced at the last page, the things I want to do list. When I look at it now, some ridiculous things were written there. Skip school. She was so serious about this. I remember it like it was yesterday. Only the topmost item, fly through the passage of clouds, was left unchecked. Even though that could happen tonight.
やりきれないね。なんか。
Hearing an unexpected voice, I raised my head. Kaneko-san was standing in the doorway. Her frustrated expression matched her words. She'd probably overheard my conversation with Hibari-san. Kaneko-san came into the room and sat beside me.
はあ。
She picked up hat and put him on her lap.
昔さ、いとこがインコを飼ってたのね。
Huh?
それがすんごい可愛くてさ。私、その子に会うのが楽しみで、いとこの家にしょっちゅう遊びに行ってたわけ。インコって結構賢くてさ、飼い主に懐くのよ。指や肩に乗ったりね。知ってた？
Huh. I had no idea why Kaneko-san started talking about parakeets, but I just kept quiet and listened.
ある時、いとこが新しいインコを買ってきたんだよね。私も早速見に行ったわけよ。いやー、あの時はテンション上がったな。まだ子供だって言うからさ。
Huh.
でさ、見ちゃったわけ。羽を切るところを。
Clipping the wings?
そう。
Kaneko-san took a hold of Hat's wings and flapped them.
インコを飼う時って羽を切るのよ。先っちょをほんの少しだけね。全部の飼い主がそうしてるわけじゃないみたいだけど。
Why would you...
私もそう思ったわ。どうして？ひどいって。そしたら急にインコがかわいそうに思えてきて、いとこのうちに遊びに行かなくなっちゃった。
That's pretty sad.
って思っちゃうよね、やっぱ。で、それからだいぶしてもうちょっと大きくなってからそうしなきゃいけない理由があることを知ったのよ。
What kind of reason?
そうしないと部屋で話した時勢いよく飛びすぎて天井や壁にぶつかっちゃうらしいのよ。物が崩れたりもしてインコの怪我のもとになる。ほら、たまに見かけるでしょ。インコ探してますの張り紙。
I hadn't seen any recently, but in the past I've seen flyers for missing parakeets that were similar to the ones for missing dogs.
羽を切ってても少しくらい飛べるし、人に飼われて暮らすならその方が暮らしやすいんだよね。要は飛べなくするんじゃなくて、世界の狭さに合わせたサイズに羽を調節するわけ。
I see. I had no idea keeping a parakeet involved something like that. That so-called clipping the wings sounded cruel, but I guess it might be the same as a collar for a dog.
で、今でも時々考えてしまうのよ。さて、どっちが幸せなのやらってね。
For the parakeet, right? There are probably some that are happy at that way and some that aren't.
懐いてる飼い主に可愛がられてたらふく餌を食って天敵に襲われない安全な場所でぬくぬく眠れて幸せなんじゃないかって思うんだけどね。けど聞けないじゃん、インコの本音なんてさ。
That's right. She put Hat on the floor while mentioning that he couldn't fly to begin with. Then she stood up.
聞けたらいいんだけどね、インコの気持ち。
She said with a troubled expression and walked out of the room. Parakeets' feelings, huh? I could at least look up at you. Are those Koteri's true feelings? Even if it was that all she felt? I don't know. At any rate, it seems that Koteri had already decided her future. I'm at a loss for fucking words. We're gonna stop there. I've already made it abundantly clear what my position in this situation with Koteri and her parents is. I think what Kaneko was trying to get at with the parakeet situation is that, like, you know, they may, you know, some owners will, you know, I think basically what she was trying to say was this, you know, owners will clip the wings so that they can adjust to the smaller world they're living in. In the situation of Koteri, you know, her parents are trying to keep her at home, keep her close to the family, keep her away from things they deem dangerous because, you know, that's what they think will make her happy, right? But, you know, at the end of the day, you can't exactly just ask her feelings on it. And I think, while with the parakeets, obviously it's because they can't talk. With her, it's more just so because her feelings aren't so simple as to be put into words, as we saw earlier with the confrontation with her father, right? These aren't emotions and feelings that you can just say. There's something that you feel, you know they're there, and you have to be the one to experience them in order to fully understand it. And so that's kind of what Koteri is right now. She is a bird who's having her wings clipped because the owners, aka her parents, think that that's what's best for her, that's what's going to make her, that's what's going to keep her safe and keep her happy, when in reality that's not actually what she wants. It, you know, sure, it will keep her safe, it could eventually lead to happiness, but just because that's the case doesn't exactly mean that's what should be done, that's what is necessary for the bird. So I think that's what she was kind of getting at, and then obviously, like, oh well, I've always wondered, like, which is actually better, because, you know, in a lot of cases it's not just so cut and dry. But a lot to think on, a lot to contemplate. But again, I don't think my feelings on this matter are going to change. I think, you know, this is fucked up. This is absolutely fucked up. To me, this isn't having her wings clipped. This is taking her wings, like forcefully spreading them out across a wooden cutting board, taking a cleaver and going, POP! And chopping them off. But that's just me. Anyways, that's going to be it for this crazy fucking episode. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure to leave a like on the video and tell me in the comment section below what you'd like to see me play next. If you enjoyed this video or any other videos or series on my channel, then I highly recommend that you hit the subscribe button and turn on post notifications so you'll be notified when those videos comes out. Anyways, that's it from me, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.